Tracy, could we have a roll call, please?
Okay. Director Boyd?
Here.
Director Decker?
Aye.
Director Harvey?
Here.
Director Slater Carter?
Here.
Director Loman is not present at this time.
All right, thank you, Tracy. For our president's statement, let me just turn to Clemens. Clemens, could you remind us about the upcoming public workshop? I don't have the details in front of me, and I may be putting you on the spot, and I apologize.
July the 28th, 6:30.
July 28th at 6:30.
Yes.
Okay.
July 28th at 6:30. Thank you, Peter. Just have it up. So we will go there through roles and responsibilities of the elected leaders, candidate filing, campaign requirements, the election calendar. This is the first one out of a series of 3 sessions. And I think this first one is a little bit more how the leaders actually feel in their role. And the second and third one will be more specific about really the steps that are needed to get elected to a public position. So hopefully people can join us on July 28th in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks, 13 days at July 28th at 6:30. Thank you.
And we're asking if you would, it's not required, I believe, but we do encourage you to RSVP at MWSD.Montara.org. And we really want to encourage everyone who has any interest in how the district works in its governance and perhaps has an interest in getting involved in that. Please join, tell your friends, encourage them to come along. We really want members of the public to take advantage of the opportunity. Okay, with that, we only have one item of new business tonight, then our reports, and then we'll follow that with a closed session. Item number 1, review and possible action concerning revised policy regarding acquisition and use of electronic readers.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. So we introduced that in policy in 2016. It was actually at the time relatively simple to do the math of how many copies we would save by issuing electronic readers to the board members, and saw clear savings due to that. So that was a successful introduction. We at the time, we essentially put an allowance of $1,500 to purchase, a device of your own choice. And but right now, what we also expect is a service plan that comes along with it. So everybody is required to pay not only for the device, but a full service plan. Just in case something goes wrong, we want this device to last for 4 years minimum. And so after 4 years, it could be replaced. Now, we put it in 5 years ago. A number of board members are thinking about upgrading. And what we've heard in the first round, that it was difficult to find something that includes also the contract that goes along with it. So 5 years have passed. Everything got a little bit more expensive. So we're suggesting to update the policy regarding the acquisition and use of electronic readers from $1,500 to $2,500. There are small changes in the policy, mainly one where we point out that the device is not to be used to communicate with other board members during the meeting, which would be a Brown Act violation, and it's a given anyway. So, but we thought we'd put it in the policy itself. So with that, the recommendation is to adopt the resolution of the Montara Water and Sanitary District approving and adopting the revised policy regarding the acquisition and use of electronic readers.
Let's go to our public. Bob Patesa.
What is the legal ramification to having public records requests made for the content of these devices? In other words, what kind of hassles are you going to have of people saying, I don't, I want a total dump of what you've got on that.
I think I'm going to ask Christine to answer that, but I think it's much easier for the board members because there's a clear separation between private use of computer and a business district use of the computer. Christine.
No, I think that's a good point, and it adds another device, electronic device that we would need to technically search for documents under a Public Records Act request.
It could be a hassle, and just be aware that that could come out of the woodworks when you least would like it to. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Bob. Let's go to the board. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, anyone care to make a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Anyone says
I'll
second?
I'll second that.
All right, thank you.
I will make a comment. And that is, I have discovered a great paperless way to save all of the agendas. And now that I'm on SAM, it's useful to have, be able to keep, to Bob's point, everything concerning SAM. And since we have our district emails now too, it's a place to keep agenda packets, research, and emails and all that stuff on it.
Thank you, Catherine. Tracy, if we could note for the notes that Rick Bowman is now present.
It's a long story. You don't want to hear it.
7:39, but you're here. Welcome, Rick.
Welcome.
So Rick, we have a motion and a second on the agenda item, the one item for review and possible action concerning revised policy regarding acquisition
Right.
of electronic readers.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe Peter made the motion, Catherine seconded, and do you have any discussion or questions?
No additional comments. Seem very interesting though.
Anyone else? If not, Tracy, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Okay. Director Boyd,
Aye.
Director Decker,
Aye.
Director Harvey,
Aye.
Director Loman,
Yes.
Director Slater Carter.
Yes.
All right, thank you. The motion carries 5-0. Okay, let's go to reports. Sewer Authority Mid-Coast Side. Catherine?
Oh, speaking of which, I don't have the agenda. We had a meeting. We have been having processing issues at SAM, and we have some probable violations of the code of the regulatory agencies. It's a whole new issue. Earlier in the year, we had the BODs, the biological oxygen demand problems, and recently we have had filaments. 60 there are 60 different kinds of filament, and essentially they screw up the whole system. And so Keishan and Kim and the operations crew have been working hard on this with Brown and Caldwell. And it was only yesterday that the numbers started improving. They've been having to introduce new bacteria and looking closely at the plant processes. We have been doing far more testing than usual. So our budget for testing is exceeded quite a bit by the need to test. And Keishan sent out an article. I'll be happy to send it on to all of you. He at San Luis Obispo, they are also having the same problems in their plant. And they are thinking it is due to the use of sanitizers, that they're coming in and killing the biologicals and disrupting the whole biological process. The plant, for the public, as if anybody's watching this later, is a very complex and delicately balanced biological process. So putting all of these sanitizers in, they feel is causing major problems in the plant. So they're working on that now, and I'd be happy to send that article on to anybody who's interested.
Yeah, if you could send that to Clemens maybe and have it go out to all of us.
I can
Happily.
distribute.
Thank you. Jim?
I took Rick's place at the meeting, and the board voted to continue with Brown Caldwell, and to continue to have them search for the source of this septic problem. So there are somewhere coming into the system, there is a source of septic conditions that cause these 60 different bacteria to grow. And the Brown and Caldwell presented a graph showing the back and forth of the good bacteria and the bad septic bacteria. They go, one goes up, one goes down, and they're back and forth like this. Right now, as Catherine said, the good ones are coming back up. They, when the bad ones go down, they have to put in packets of seed bacteria and a special fertilizer that help the good ones grow. There are always some bad septic bacteria in any system, but usually the good bacteria win out and are able to dominate. But for some reason, there's some source of problem coming into the system that is introducing septic anaerobic type conditions that cause these bacteria to grow. One of the bacteria, I've got to mention this. Before I mention that, Catherine came up with some good ideas as to which direction to look, and we'll talk more about that later. But one of the bacteria that forms these long filaments is a bacteria from my medical background is called Nocardia, Nocardia. Nocardia is a bacteria that only attacks compromised systems like sewer plants with septic conditions coming in, or patients who are immunosuppressed. So this Nocardia is growing in the plant, and it's a hard bug to kill. It's not dangerous because Nocardia is ubiquitous throughout the environment, where all of us are exposed to this bug. It's everywhere. We're exposed to it right at this instant. But normal people can fight it off. If it's a transplant patient that's immunocompromised, or a sick patient who is immunocompromised, they could get a bad lung infection from this Nocardia. But it's no danger to the workers or us or anybody else. It's just an opportunist bacteria that comes into the plant and grows these long filamentous hair-like structures that clog things up. They're also adding polymers to the special polymers in the plant that'll help the solid waste settle down. And again, as I said, they're adding seed and fertilizer to help the good bacteria grow. So Brown and Caldwell was verbally unanimously asked to stay on and keep investigating what it has changed in the plant. What is causing this change? And Catherine mentioned one thing that might be the antiseptic solutions being introduced, or it may be some other thing that's out of balance. The Kishan and the operators and Brown and Caldwell will continue looking for this source of septic conditions that come flowing into the plant for some reason.
Thanks, Jim.
Let's,
And you might come to the next SAM meeting might be interesting because they will give a further report as to what they've found and what's going on.
thank you both. I don't know that many people understand how much of a living, breathing organism the treatment plant is, but you both brought good attention to that in a really interesting way. So it's unfortunate we have this challenge, but it sounds like we've got some good people looking at it.
Right.
Yeah, I will add to what Jim said, and that is the board was unanimous in not only continuing with Brown and Caldwell, but paying for additions to the contract in order to solve this problem. And everybody was very complimentary about how well Brown and Caldwell is doing and what a thorough job they're doing, and what a very good job they're doing working with our operations staff. At the SAM board meeting, we had a number of operations staff members stay for the meeting and stay for this update. Since it's online, it's really worth the time. All right, if you're a sewer systems fan like some of us are, it's a education to watch it.
Is there any immediate financial impact of us not abiding by the rules of the authorities that supervise the plant?
Potential fines.
How close are we to potential fines?
That will be negotiated. We have had exceedances.
It's
And
yeah.
the question is, to me, finding out what if there are other plants that are having these same problems. The one at San Luis Obispo is about the same size plant as ours and quite close in demographics. So it seems to me that it's quite possible that this is a probably more of a nationwide problem that hasn't been reported on much.
Peter,
But
I
they
think,
hope-
I
but-
think
but-
the-
but-
oh, go ahead, Jim.
Well, I'm sorry, Scott. Peter, it's not too late to get this turned around, and they hope to get it turned around before fines take place or happen.
That's good.
I think they're going to take a hard look at, are we being responsive or are we blowing the problem off? And I think it's pretty clear we're being responsive.
Right.
Plants act up. They are living organisms.
Yeah.
You can't tell them what to do at all times. So you have to respond to the changing conditions. So thank you for the excellent report. I think that's a lot of the time we don't hear about all this kind of thing because it's well in hand. When it gets unusual, you can tell it's well in hand because the team is responding to it. So thank you for that report. Anything further on SAM?
Yeah, let me add my congratulations, deep thanks to the crew. They're coming in, they have to come in now earlier at 4 a.m, and they just started doing that as needed. They didn't have to have special requests or special scheduling. Sam and MWSD both have fabulously dedicated, responsive, intelligent, knowledgeable crew. And that's something that it's easy to take for granted sometimes. But these guys are just awesome in how much they know, how creative they are, and how dedicated they are, both for MWSD and Sam. And Montara and Moss Beach and the whole coast side are very fortunate to have such a long-term dedicated, long-standing dedicated crew protecting our public health.
Thank you. Anything further on Sam? All right, let's go to Mid-Coast Community Council. Does anyone, we don't have our friendly representative here. Anyone have anything to weigh in on Mid-Coast Council?
I'm sorry, I haven't been following it closely. They've been doing a whole lot on the fire danger and working to get that done.
We miss Greg. We hope we see him next time. Thank you for that, Catherine. CSDA report, Rick. You're on mute.
Barb's running around making a lot of noise here.
Oh, sure.
No CSDA meetings have occurred and no LAFCO meeting has occurred.
Okay, thank you. Christine, attorney's report?
No report.
All right, any director's reports? Seeing none, general manager's report.
No report.
All right, do we have anything to talk about putting on future agendas?
Yes, I would like to put on future agendas a request to start a water rate study.
Thanks for the reminder, Peter. We did the first steps already, so there's something coming to the board down the line, but feel free to check in how the progress is going as treasurer, of course.
Okay, thank you. We are going to take a brief recess and then reconvene in closed session. We thank the public for attending. Christine, do we need to say anything before we go into closed session?
Not this evening.
Okay.
Thank you for the reminder.
And then
Hey, Bob, good to see you.
we've got one matter of existing litigation, Half Moon Bay suing everybody, and anticipated litigation, two potential cases. That's what we'll be discussing. If we take any action, we'll report that out after closed session. So thank you everyone for joining.
I just wanted to say hi to Bob too.
Bye.
It's
Bye,
good to
Bob.
see you, Bob. So 5 minutes, top of the hour.